Hi my friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today I want to talk about Need for Speed Payback. Now this game has only been out a couple days. If you have the deluxe edition pre-ordered, you could pick it up Tuesday. I'm actually filming this on a Thursday, so it's been out a couple days, and I've had a lot of activity going on in my house with contractors and stuff, but I have played this for a few hours now. Every chance I got. I played it last night, I played it the night before, and I'm telling you that these, quote, mediocre reviews that it's getting are total horseshit. This is one of the best Need for Speed games that I've played. Now, again, the story in it, I mean, I even have the movie. The story in all of these games are always crazy. You know, you play these Need for Speed games, Most Wanted, over-the-top story. I mean, basically they're cartoons of the Fast and Furious movies. They've always been known for that kind of over-the-top, crazy cutscenes and over-the-top action and jumps and all that stuff. But that's why I love the series. And I certainly loved it when it went out to Shift, and then especially Shift 2 Unleashed. I love the realistic handling models, the deep customization, and the real road racing action. They really nailed it with these games. And I'm real happy with many of the different strange directions the series has gone for over the years. Even the Hot Pursuit that came out like 2010 or 11 or so was a good game, and in fact I have that one downloaded in my hard drive. When I bought a larger hard drive, that was one of the free games that got downloaded, so I don't have a physical copy of it. But that game is very arcadey, but this game really works well. And I've mentioned many times that I love the handling in Need for Speed The Run. The handling in this one is a lot like Need for Speed The Run. It has a very similar kind of handling model, and it's a lot like Rivals. Rivals is great. This is one of the first 4 games I picked up for my PlayStation 4. I love this game, and I love what it does right. It's kind of a stripped-down game. It's very simple. It doesn't have the over-the-top story like this new Payback does. But the racing is done well in this. Ghost also made this one. Did an outstanding job. I've returned to this over and over for years now. This has been my go-to racing game because, frankly, there's not a lot of offline games that I like. I won't play The Crew. I certainly would have nothing to do with that abortion 2015 always online Need for Speed game. So, and I've heard that game you can beat in like 6 hours. And that game got a higher score than this. It's impossible for this game to receive 5s and, 5.3s or 9s or whatever IGN gave it. Complete horseshit. This game is some of the best graphics. It blows away Need for Speed Rivals. The graphical presentation of this is incredible. The handling and especially the drifting in this is really, really good. And what's funny is that IGN shits all over this along with GameSpot, but then they give this a 9 and say it's amazing. This is my least favorite game. I wouldn't call it a bad game. The driving is not bad. Criterion also, some of the core DNA that made this game made this one. Certainly Criterion apparently is gone, but some of the best devs went on to make this, and they try to emulate some of the Burnout Paradise action that works so well in this. That's what this is a return to. This is like a hybrid where you get some of the elements for Need for Speed Most Wanted. You get Burnout Paradise with the jumps and the billboards and a lot of the things and hidden areas that you can find in the game. They have the barn finds like in Forza Horizon. Even a very similar map and kind of all the activities that were bustling with the map on Forza Horizon. That's why I love this game. This game is a hybrid of so many games. I honestly don't understand why it's gotten horrible reviews. It just does not make sense. Now, I've only played a few hours of the game, but I've got to try like 6 cars so far. And actually the first hour or so is kind of cringeworthy, some of the dialogue. I mean, but again, I find the same thing with the Fast and Furious movies. I watch every one of them, but it's like, oh my God, it's over the top. Those movies are a cartoon, and so are the characters and story in this. But from watching other people's early impressions of this, and people that have played like 9 to 12 hours into this game, say that the story gets far better later in the game, and I believe it. In the beginning, they're trying to set the tone for the game. They're a little heavy-handed where they'll take control away from you to show an epic car jump or whatever. It's understandable, but the racing itself, and that's what I want to talk about. the core of the game, the graphics, I'd give them extremely high marks. I'd put them up there, right up there with the Forza Horizon series, even the third one. It looks that good. It looks that good. The racing, unlike Most Wanted, with its narrow, tight streets and really not a lot of room to drift, you could tag a phone pole so easy in this, and I would rage quit this. I've sold this game twice. This is the third time I bought this game. I pre-ordered it. I'd get pissed off. I'd say, fuck this thing. Sell it and go buy it back. But yet they give this a 9. You can't even choose the color of your goddamn car in this. You have to drive through a gas station. You may get gray. You may get bright yellow. I mean, you may get a color that you hate. Doesn't matter. There's no customization. There's not really much of a story in this either. And the graphics are good in this. The graphics are good in this. The cars are good. I even have DLC packs with a lot of movie cars and shit that's in this. But this game is one of the worst. And yet they give this a 9. This game has awesome racing, really good handling. I love the physics in the cars. The roads are designed, even within the city streets, there's lots of, there's poles and there's lots of some narrow roads and alleyways as well. But by and large, it's a very forgiving game. They give you really wide streets. I mean, you can set up and do epic, huge drifts around turns. You can set your car up early on. In the very beginning, they have you jumping from car to car. You're driving like a really killer hot rod Mustang 1 minute, which I really like. In fact, here, I'm going to show you some scenes of a couple nights ago when I was playing in my Mustang. Watch this and just listen and look at how good this part of the game is. This game works well. Now, I'm trying to get used to the controls, and I was kind of bouncing off things a little bit, but I mean, if I had just had another 15 minutes with this car, I would have mastered this thing. This game is awesome. Watch this Mustang racing. I love the sound design, everything about it. It's so good.
Tyler, get the perfect ride, spec it as high as it'll go, and get myself into the ultimate race.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Out of this hellhole.
Where you going?
Up.
What? Silver Road, Aces.
You didn't grow up in the barrio. Tyler and I did.
It wasn't all that. Made me who I am.
My point exactly. Come on, Tyler. Gotta push harder.
Relax, Lena. You know I can do this. This is why you agreed to the job.
You're about to race and lift a hypercar loaded with prototype black market tech. Do not tell me to relax.
Practice your jumping skills, bro?
Yeah. Where are you?
Coming through. Oh, yeah. Not bad, bro. Pull up that jump on the jump, and we'll be golden.
I hope so.
Baby bird learning to fly. I'm soft brown.
So, I mean, you can see by that, it has a great production quality. I love the nitrous. I love the cars. They have you driving in a Mustang 1 minute and a little Beamer the next, and kind of a thrash beat-up, fixer-upper, like a 240Z or Fairlady the next, which I found that was a little twitchy when you throw it into a curve to kind of get it to drift. It was a little bit off, but that's what's cool about it. Each of the cars is set up differently. They all handle. You get to drive a killer supercar, like a $2 million car in the game right early on. The handling and the power is brutal in it. The game succeeds. It gets 8 pluses. I'm not into number scores. I hate them. Graphics, high marks, 8s and 9s. The handling model, I'd give it like an 8.5 or 9. It's very, very good. The drifting is the best drifting I've done. Better than the drifting in Most Wanted. Definitely better in Most Wanted. Definitely better than Hot Pursuit. Hot Pursuit to me, from 2010 or so, was very arcadey. I mean, it's very unrealistic. This game is closer to like the handling of Shift and Need for Speed the Run. It's like right in there. It does a great job of handling. Now, there are problems, I understand, with the multiplayer online. I don't play multiplayer anymore, but when I played this at first, I had issues with this. If you cut an apex a little too short through the dirt, they'd reset your fucking car. I hated that. But within a few weeks, they patched it and they took care of that. You could start to cut through corners. You could drift out a little bit further off the road a little bit, get kind of in some off-road action. Naturally, that's not even an issue with this. This is an open world game. It doesn't even have a lot of the walls that this has. You can literally go everywhere in the environment. It's an enormous map, and it's very well laid out. I love the way the main faux Las Vegas city is laid out. Even in the tightest parts of the city, the cars handle like a dream. The drifting is awesome in this game. They said there was no sensation of speed. I watched like a GameSpot a few last night. I was pulling my hair. I'm like, these guys have got to be on antidepressant drugs. I'm just going to call it for what I see it. They have to be on like bipolar medication or antidepressants because they obviously have no patience for the game. Now, a game like this one, unlike Rivals you can jump into, and I'll tell you the difference, what makes this game so good in my opinion. And I've watched quite a few videos on it. I mean, a lot of videos on this game on how to set the cars up, the customization, everything. This game, you go in and you I didn't care for the progression system in Rivals, but basically, you do so many drifts around the outside on a turn, or you pass a guy, stay ahead of him for so many seconds, and you get these upgrades. And you could use the upgrades in like really generic categories to upgrade your chassis or the top speed, real basic, handling, really basic categories. Well, naturally, everyone's going to upgrade to the same degree. They're all going to max the handling out, max everything. They have the 5 categories out, and then you're racing identical cars against identical people, whether you play it online or off. This game, they have more of where it has kind of a Las Vegas theme to it. They have kind of a gambling thing where you earn these speed cards, and it's like what do they call it? One of those slot machines where you pull the dial and the thing spins, and you don't know what you're going to get. You may get a turbocharge, extra turbo boost. You may get an upgrade for your exhaust system or for your handling or for your overall horsepower to make the engine put out more power. So it's exciting. And what they do is they force you to grind for those speed cards so that you can upgrade your car. So naturally, someone that's in a hurry, probably on medication, that doesn't want to take the time to go through the game properly, they want to rush through it and review the game. Let's face it, that's their job. They may not even like racing games, but the IGN, their editor tells them, okay, you're going to review this game, you're going to review this one. I mean, I'd like to think that they at least picked out someone that was like a racing enthusiast to at least review the games. But I mean, if you listen to the board and jaded commentary of IGN and GameSpot, my God, it sounded terrible. I mean, they clearly have, it's like they had it out for the game. They have no love for it. They shit all over it. They would mention some of the positive points about the graphics and how great the cars handle or whatever, but then they'd say that GameSpot says there's no sensation of speed. Bullshit. This game is awesome. I can only imagine later when I unlock, the Z06 Corvettes and a lot of the faster supercars, it's going to be over the top. I mean, this game works. Killer jumps, killer off-road excursions. There's so many ways you can play the game. It's like a hybrid of The Crew and Forza Horizon. Some of the previous Need for Speed games, certainly. I mean, it really, Most Wanted even, the original one. And it kind of reminds me, to be honest, of the early Need for Speed. The drifting, especially in Underground 2, had really good drifting, and it's a lot like that. It's a good game. You get a day-night cycle. I don't think there's weather effects in the game. I don't care about that. They say the streets are sterile. There's no enough people on the streets. Yeah, there's not a lot of pedestrians and people on the streets. There are a pretty good array of cars. I mean, I've certainly seen a lot more cars on the streets in some games, but the game is fairly forgiving. Some of the games, like Most Wanted, I mean, if you tagged a phone pole or something, that's it. You were done. I mean, you'd have to restart the whole game, or the whole race. This game, at least it gives you, if you bounce off a guardrail or wall, it's not the end of the story, and it resets it, and you have to replay the game. It's more forgiving. So now I'm playing it on the medium setting. I probably should crank it up to hard because I'm having no problem beating the races. But I have heard the game does get harder later. And I have some guys I've watched have been playing it on hard, and later on they almost regret it because they're having to replay races over and over. So I'm going to start it off on medium, Games I like Need for Speed The Run, I replay them on hard and I beat them on hard because I love these games. It's one of my favorite franchises, and it kills me that it gets crapped on to the same degree. We may not get another Need for Speed now. Thanks a lot, guys, IGN and GameSpot, for your jaded reviews, your indifferent, bored reviews, because you're forced to grind. You're forced to grind to get through the game. That's what the game is all about. It gives you plenty to do. There's different like groups and clubs that you can join. You can have certain affinities with certain part companies, and the more parts you buy of those companies, they give you more points. And so there's so many ways. It's like an RPG for cars. If you love cars like me and you want to see a really deep, and I mean deep customization, again, I never played the 2015 one, but I heard even that had a pretty deep customization. But the difference is, instead of everyone upgrading the cars identically, there's much more of a random way that the cars are upgraded, where you can't guarantee what parts you're going to get. So all the cars are going to be built different. Some of them have more top end, some may have more handling, depending on who's playing it and what speed cards that they get for their upgrades. So there's a lot of races. Yeah, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to go out and find the barn finds. Now, supposedly, I think they call them derelicts in this versus barn finds in Forza. But those cars are set up the best. Those are the baddest cars. They have the best upgrades. So taking the time, it behooves you to take the time to find the initial car, and I think there's like a total of 4, aspects of the car. The initial chassis, and then there's like 3 other crates you got to find. It's not too hard. I mean, you look at the map, you find a similar little, you can kind of see where that part of the map is. They'll highlight the basic area, and then once you get close enough, it even shows you where the car is, unlike the barn find in Forza Horizon. So it's a very user-friendly game, but it does require grinding. But what's great about the grinding is that if you like the game, you'll enjoy the grind. I love Mad Max, so I had no problem grinding for it. I wanted to discover not just most of the locations, I wanted to find all of them. It's the same thing with this. I can't wait to try every type of race. I want to fix up multiple cars. They got a badass 71 CUDA in this thing. It's a 70 or 71 CUDA. They've got a 69 Charger RT. They have many of the muscle cars that I've owned in real life. And even, my Challenger. They got my Challenger in this too, an SRT model. Very similar rims. I love what that does. It gives me a chance to play the game that I want. It is a cartoon. It is very arcadey. But the handling is really good. I think it's a fine handling mix, kind of like Forza Horizon. It gives you some realism, but it's very arcadey at the same time, especially with the jumps, obviously. But my God, the drifting is so good, and the high speed is so good. The handling at high speed, when you get on the nitrous and off it, and how you initiate the drifts, it is right on the money. It's really well balanced. And there are going to be patches down the road which will fix any issues that they'll find around with this game. I feel bad. I guess the multiplayer is not great. They don't have like a free roam. There's some problems with matchmaking or something. It's unbalanced, I guess, or there's some issues with multiplayer. Again, I don't touch multiplayer anymore, so I'm not really interested in that. To me, I'm interested in the offline story aspect of the game. And the game works so good on so many levels. I love the cars. I love the driving through the city streets. They're so detailed. There's so much to love about the game. Even with the cheesy characters, the voice acting is actually not bad. It's pretty good. It's what they say. It's the lines that they say are cringeworthy at times, I'll admit. But look, going into Need for Speed, I play it for the racing. This story is serviceable. It gets you through the action, so I don't care about the millennials and all the jargon and crap. I can get through that. There's some chatter that you'll hear as you're racing. If you have a problem with that, then I don't have to tell you. I mean, maybe you can turn that off volume-wise. I don't know. But I like what the game does. I like the Burnout Paradise, billboards that they give you in this. How there's hidden things in back alleys to find. They have all of that in here. All the billboards to find. Even finding the derelict parts are harder to find and harder to get to some of them than they are in Forza Horizon. You gotta hit ramps just right, kind of land up on these desert plateaus and shit. It's awesome. The game works on too many levels. I honestly don't see. I haven't played all of it yet. I'm dying to get back to this game today. I've got the next 2 days, today and tomorrow off, then I'm going on vacation in Lake Tahoe for a while with my wife for celebrate her 22nd anniversary. That's all I'm going to be thinking about. This game is great too because I can play this kind of laying on my side, leaning against the arm of my couch very casually, and I can master this game. Wolfenstein, I'm more upright with my bad back, and right now with my cast on my foot, I lean too much forward and it's more painful. This game is very relaxing. I wish I could play the new Wolfenstein Colossus right now, I really do. But I'm so happy for this. This is one of my best favorite games of this year. I'm so happy, and I've bought a lot of games this year. So far I'm having more fun with this than I've ever had with Rivals. Way better racing, way better handling, much deeper customization, much deeper in this. And with real wheel companies, great paint colors, matte blacks, all the gloss colors, metallics, window tint. There's even like you can put stereos in your car. I don't know if you can see in the trunk and see them set up. I don't know. Very, very cool and very deep. Excellent muscle cars, contemporary ones, and the old retro ones. Even a really badass mid-60s Chevy stepside truck that is really cool. And like the Crew, you can fix them up for off-road, you can fix them up for drag racing, which is good. They didn't have any of that in Rivals. This is like a stripped down, this is like a really bare bones, good racing game. Really good maps, good areas, and good races. This has been my go-to game since I bought my midnight launch PS4, but I don't know that I'll ever play this again now. I'm loving this game. And it kind of kills me to see it getting mediocre or mixed reviews, but I'm telling you, you'll also find people that like it as much as I do. Watch all the reviews. Don't just watch some of them. Watch them all. Because what happens is the mainstream reviewers label it with a shit label, and it negates the game. And a lot of other people, and you watch and read in the IGN comments and on GameSpot comments, oh, that's too bad. I was kind of looking forward to this. And it's a shame. I hate to think how many sales they've cost this game. This game is fun. The sensation of speed is amazing. The handling in this game is incredible. The best drifting of any Need for Speed game, even better than the drifting mechanics in Need for Speed Ship, as much as I like those. This is more of a realistic, kind of a sim almost. But this game, it is so good. It's like my favorite Need for Speed games all in one. It's so good. And Burnout Paradise. It's so good. And Forza Horizon. You get the best of all worlds. Give this game a chance. At least watch all the reviews. Take the time and really think. I've already had friends on Twitter. It's a shame. I was thinking of picking that up, Dean, but I've seen nothing but bad reviews. I was furious. I immediately posted a couple positive reviews on there and said, dude, I'm telling you, the game is not bad at all. In fact, I wouldn't just call it a good game. I'd say it's a great game. Now, I'm sorry for whatever problems are happening with the multiplayer, but it's going to be fixed. And I'm sure down the road they're going to have excellent DLC car packs with more muscle cars, more tuners, more really cool imports. This game rocks. I can't wait to get back to this. I highly recommend this game. Again, I'm only a few hours into it, but everything that I've played so far is rock solid. It works perfect, unlike some of the other Need for Speed games at launch that had some issues. This one so far has no issues. It's an outstanding game. It's a gorgeous looking game. It's a real looker. So anyway, that's my impressions. You can take them or leave them, but please leave in the comments, your feelings about it. I know not everyone's into racing games, especially Need for Speed games. They're very arcadey, and you kind of have to take the good with the bad. You got to take those cheesy stories that are pretty much in all of the games. Let's face it, all the characters in these games. I mean, even Juiced, in Juiced 2, and LA Rush. I mean, all of these have crazy over-the-top antics and stuff, and that's what the Need for Speed games are known for. They all have that kind of over-the-top action and wild characters and story. Even the Cross guy from this, I guess, from what I've heard, is in this game, which is really cool. So, I give it high marks. That's just my 2 cents on it. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be doing some more stuff soon. I'm going to be showing my Xbox 360 collection next. That's my next big video that I've got planned. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. But no matter what, enjoy those games. And if you enjoy racing games, please think of picking this up. It's a wonderful game. It really is. I can't say anything but glowing things about it. Thanks for watching.